Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of A Closer Look from the Streets, Physical Distancing Edition. My name is Sia Nuri. The economic fallout of COVID-19 around the world and here at home in the Bahamas has been rapid and unwavering. In a short 3 weeks, we have seen and witnessed the cessation of hotel operations, the termination of thousands of workers, and we have seen the closure of a number of private businesses, big and small. And with these two things, we have witnessed the shutdown of the entire Bahamian economy. Today, we talk with a local business owner, Mr. Kevin Culmer, to discuss exactly how COVID-19 has impacted his business. Right now, we welcome Kevin Culmer. How are you doing, Culmer?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Nuri. How are you, sir?
And again, I would like to thank you for coming on with us just to discuss exactly what is happening at your operation. Are you at work at this present time?
Yes, I'm here at Tropical Jowls at Rosetta Street, with my staff, and we're hoping that we get some, hoping we get to serve some people today.
Understandable. And since the COVID-19 pandemic we're going through right now, exactly how has it impacted your business?
Well, it's had a drastic impact on our business. The first thing is that we lost our catering contract with the airport because we would cater to the Lignum Club VIP lounge at the International Domestic Departure Terminal. So that's one. That's 100% loss of revenue there. We've had to shut the Bay Street location at the Hilton because there's nothing happening downtown. I had to lay off temporarily about four of the seven staff that work there. And so that was a 100% loss of revenue there. And in Rosetta Street, we're only operating until 5 o'clock. We've seen a 60% decrease in sales here. But we've managed to keep most of the employees working every other day. So trying to give people at least 3 to 4 days a week out of a 6-day work week. So it's
I know your business is a takeout restaurant. So what did you do to continue operations?
Well, what we did, we did a lot of social media blasts to let people know that we're still offering takeout. We were always a takeout and delivery restaurant, so the concept of lack of seating never really affected us. The closure of sit-down restaurants. But what has happened is that the economy, a lot of money has now dried up in the economy. So people looked at that in indiscretionary spending that would say, you know what, let me go get a Tropical Jarrow meal. Today it might be a little bit more expensive than a Wendy's meal, but now in this depressed economy with finances being really tight, people are saying, wait here, hold on a second. I don't know if I can afford that $10 to $12 lunch anymore. I need to maybe look at going something cheaper, or let me cook at home. So we have seen, we've done a lot of promotions. We're running a special right now where we're offering, a sandwich, fries, and a drink for a $10 value, trying to, understanding the depressed economy at the present time, given the COVID-19 epidemic. We have, we're sanitizing our counters, we're sanitizing our doors. We have markers on the floors for those people who come in. We even, we'll take the food out to the customers, to their car, and order from the car and walk it in and walk it out for them if they so feel. So we're trying some things to get through this.
Okay. So how many people do you currently employ, and did you have to lay off anybody, or are you still working with the full staff but less hours?
No, we had, prior to the academic hitting, we had 18 employees. We're down now to 13. So I've had to lay off about 5 people temporarily. Those were people mostly working at the downtown location. It was very difficult to flow them into the operations at Rosetta Street because we had a full staff complement at Rosetta. So we were able to bring 2 of the staff, more of our longer senior staff members over, who had been with us for many years, from the downtown location to Rosetta. So, but even those that we laid off temporarily, we've tried to give a day or 2 here and there during the week just to give them an opportunity to make some money. We've done the necessary paperwork, giving them the forms to try to apply for unemployment at the time. And it is our hope to bring everybody back once we're able to open both restaurants again.
Excellent. Right now we're having a conversation with Mr. Kevin Culmer, who is the owner and proprietor of Tropical Gyros. And we're just trying to find out exactly how COVID-19 has impacted his business. So I was about to ask him another question. I want to mention that your store is very popular on social media. I know you have a lot of social media following on that. And we actually have some questions from social media regarding your business. So I'll bring them in later on just to pose that question to you. I just want to let you know. But I want to mention, I see you were able to keep your staff, and I see that you assisted them with getting the applications to NIB so they can assist themselves. But have you heard about the government loan program for small businesses? And do you plan to take advantage of that?
Well, I've applied. I have an application that's actually in process right now. I'm actually waiting for the lender that I chose, which was Simplified Lending, to come back with the decision. So I filled that out. I started the process last week and downloaded all the relevant documents that the government portal asks you to do. And I sent all the other information to Simplified Lending. The agent that was working on my case submitted it on Sunday, I think it was, to their team to determine who was going to, who makes a decision on whether or not they're granting the loan. It would be very difficult for me to keep the location downtown, until we're able to open up again because of the cost of the rent down there. And with decreased revenues across the board, it'll be increasingly difficult in order to get that done if I'm not able to achieve, be lucky to achieve the loan that the government has offered.
Okay. And how was that process, applying for the loan?
It wasn't difficult, I thought it was going to be difficult at first. They wanted your VAT filings, I think, is proof of it. Your proof of information, your address and your name, and that you actually have a business. So the process wasn't tedious at all. I actually had my guy that does my licensing. He actually helped me with it because he's very savvy with downloading documents. I'm more of a chef kind of guy. I'm not very computer savvy as
I understand.
Trying to get this segment today. So I lean on the people that are experts in that field, and so he was able to do all the downloading of the documents for me, and that was a great help.
Excellent. Right now, we're having a conversation with Mr. Kevin Culmer, who's the owner of Tropical Gyros, and that's on Rosetta Street, correct?
That's correct, Rosetta and Matthew.
Excellent. And you're watching A Closer Look from the Streets. Again, my name is C.A. Nuri, and we'll be right back after this break. And welcome back to A Closer Look from the Streets. This is C.A. Nuri, and we're having a conversation with business owners. And today's business owner will be Kevin Culmer from Tropical Gyros. I'm just going to bring him back on so I can ask him and continue our conversation about what he's doing during COVID-19. Mr. Culmer.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. I just want to continue the conversation. Before the break, you mentioned that you already have made application to the government.
Yes.
And I want to go and follow up by, how was that process? What did you actually have to do? Just to make sure everybody understand how easy this process is.
Well, the first thing you had to do was to hit the link that they gave you, the SB, small business link.
So it's on the
get
internet.
Verified. It was it's very, very, very simple. You go on the internet and you click that. And you set up your email address. You set up an email address and a login account. And once you set up your account, what I did, I just used my same email address and just altered my password. And then you just follow the prompts. And it was actually laid out very well. And I must commend the government and the Ministry of Finance and whoever's responsible for setting it up. Kudos, because I thought at first it was going to be very, very tedious.
Yeah.
The difficulty that I had was in downloading the documents, because I don't really know how to use a scanner and turn the documents from Word into PDF. So I used my licensing agent to do that process for me. But everything else was pretty straightforward and simple. So, I must commend them on that, and that was appreciative. Whether I get the loan or not, I'm still thankful for the opportunity to at least present. I'm hopeful that I would be approved for it, of course, but the fact that the government made the funds available to small businesses, I think they deserve kudos for that.
So besides the loan, were you looking forward to any other assistance, any other packages or plans that the government may offer?
No, the loan would have been probably at that point in time the most productive and the best used tool to help me, keep my business functionable over this duration of economic uncertainty. I also recognize that, I agree with the Ministry of Tourism said that the government can't save everybody's business. But trying to see how long we can hold the location downtown, because we invested a lot of money in the location, number one. So for me to close that today, that would be a huge loss financially for me. And, not only from a economic point of view personally, but from a people point of view for the people that I would have to let go permanently. One of the things that I've always prided myself on was trying to keep all of my staff employed, and as much staff employed as possible. I think that small businesses are important to the generation of the economy of any country. And I think that more owners need to try to continue to keep people employed. So, we're trying our best, but I wouldn't be able to keep the downtown location open without some assistance, because there's no way that I could meet the rent from my reduced revenues as they are right now.
And excellent, I understand. I want to talk about how you adapt during this COVID-19 in terms of your operations. And also, if you think that the government should help you in this adaptation, should it be only you or your responsibility?
Let me take the first part of your question first. There has been some changes as far as shopping as getting my inventory. That's been a bigger challenge, because now that there's the lockdowns pending and what have you, the lines and all of the supplies that I use, and because of my limited space, I have to shop daily. So I'm not lucky enough to have big enough refrigeration and freezer space that I can have stuff coming by the cases. So every day I buy fresh produce. So now that means, and I'll go to the food stores and buy them. So that means having to, use a concierge service at Super Value in order to bypass the long lines, because if I had to stand in a line for an hour and a half, I would never be able to open, or 2 hours. And
I want to talk more about that, this concierge service. Exactly how do you do that?
Well, you would call the Super Value hostess. I have, they offer that, and then you give them your shopping list ahead of time, and they would take things out for you. And they would have your stuff ready. They'd have your stuff ready for you, and then you just go in and then you present yourself, and then you go to the cash register and pick them up. So that is that's a pretty good service that they offer. And it's been tough. It's been tough. Like this morning, I went to one of my suppliers where I get my French fries, and the line, it was about 80 people in line. So it was no way that I could get those particular type fries. I had to use fries from the food store that I don't normally want to use, so I have to apologize to my customers today. But those are sort of the adaptations I've had to undergo, where I couldn't get some of the products that I would normally use because of the inability to get into the stores in a timely manner. So that's number one.
Excellent. So social media have all types of questions for you, because you're big on social media. And I mentioned before that we was going to bring them in, and I'm getting ready to bring in our social media affiliate, Leah. Any minute now, she's going to join me, so she's able to pose that question for you. Leah, are you there?
All right, no problem.
Hi, Mr. Comer, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
I'm good. My question for you is, what is your greatest lesson that you're taking away from this COVID-19 experience as a business owner?
Number one lesson would be to make sure you got some reserves, some financial reserves in difficult times, so that you can have something to fall back on in order to be able to maintain your operations at the level you were prior. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. And so, moving forward, I'm going to be taking steps to ensure that.
All right. Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much, Leah. So I know before we go on off, and we always love social media and the type of question they pose. And you always pose interesting questions. But I want to know, Mr. Culmer, I want to talk about staff. Exactly.
Okay.
How are you keeping your staff safe during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay. Well, the easiest way for us to do is to ensure that we continue to wash our hands. We have, all of the Lysol sprays. We're wiping down the doors after customers come in and out, wiping down the counters. They are adhering, staff within the restaurants are adhering to the protocol of trying to stay 6 feet apart during all times as best as possible. Sometimes it gets difficult because of the environment we're in. We're in a smaller restaurant. We wash our hands in and out. Anytime we have interaction with money, we wash our hands. Interaction with going outside, we go straight and wash our hands and sanitize. So we're doing the things from that area. Our delivery drivers, they wear the masks when they go out. They have hand sanitizers, and they use that on their hands after they interact with the customers. So we're also looking out for the safety of the customers and the staff at the same time.
And that's always good to know. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Closer Look from the Streets. This is C.A. Nuri. We're having a conversation with Mr. Kevin Culmer, who's the owner of Tropical Gyros, which is located on Rosetta Street, home of the famous conch bowls. Is it a famous conch bowl?
Yeah, we have the conch bowl. Yeah, that's a famous one. But the most famous one is our jerk chicken gyro. I have to give it up to that. That's the one that put us on the map.
I come in there next time to try that.
You need to come. I don't know what you're waiting on.
I understand. We're going to just go on a quick break. And this is a closer look from the streets. And again, my name is C.A. Nuri, and we'll welcome back Mr. Kevin Culmer when we return.
What do you get when you mix mangoes and pineapples with an explosive sauce? A mouth-watering explosion. Come on and experience the flavor rush at Tropical Gyros. Visit our Rosetta Street location and our Prince Charles location Monday through Saturday. Tropical Gyros. Come and experience the flavor rush.
And welcome back to a closer look from the streets, the physical distancing edition. My name is C.A. Nuri, and we're having a number of conversations with business persons during this pandemic that we're going through. Today, we are actually having a conversation with Mr. Kevin Culmer, who is the owner of Tropical Gyros on Rosetta Street. So let me just welcome back Mr. Culmer in. And before the break, I just wanted to continue our conversation on what are you doing to protect your staff during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, well, the first thing that we're doing, of course, is making sure that we have sanitizers and proper cleaning products here, over and beyond what we would normally have. Prior to the COVID-19 virus, we would wipe our door handles down and wipe the counters down, but not as aggressively as we're doing now. Now we're doing it almost every time the customers enter and leave the store. Before we would do it every 2 hours or so. Now we're doing it anytime anyone enters or leaves the store. We wipe down the doors, wipe down the counters, wipe down the areas wherever they touched. Staff always use gloves. We change our gloves every time we make a sandwich, so we're always using fresh new gloves. Make sure we have hand washing solutions here. We're sanitizing products here to keep the hands fresh and clean. masks. They wear them. Our drivers, when our drivers go out, or like when I go to shop, I'll wear the mask. My drivers will wear the mask because we're outside in the general area. But we're trying to ensure that the food products are cleaned. We spray down the boxes when they come in, and the bags when they come in from the food store, so that we're not transporting anything. So it's a little more effort taken now, and we have to not also protect our employees, but we also have to look at protecting our customers. I think that's important because we look at our customers as family. We look at them. I like to, anytime I see a customer, I engage with the customer and they come into the restaurant. I always thank them personally for choosing us because I think it's an honor that they come in and see us. With all of the competition out there in the food industry, anytime a customer walks into my door, I am truly grateful and humbled by that opportunity. We remind our staff that too, because the customers that keep our staff employed. So we're doing the best we can at this point.
Excellent, and I appreciate that because I'm a regular customer in your store. I was surprised you don't recognize my face, but I'll wait.
I'm looking at the face. Yeah, I look at the face and I said, yeah, this gentleman looks familiar. I've seen him, and yeah, I love the. Yes, without a doubt. But now I'm definitely gonna know when you come in. I'll know you by name now, so I'll be able to say, Mr. Moore.
Good. But I want to speak about personal responsibility. That's a big thing. The government is pushing that. Okay. They're putting on the flyers now. They're saying that we all have a responsibility during this COVID-19 pandemic. And I just want to get some recommendations that what you think we can do as Bahamians practicing this personal responsibility.
Well, I think the most important thing we can do, to be honest with you, is to heed the government's directives. If we stay home, if we don't need to be out, stay home. If we have to be in public, utilize the social distancing protocol. Because at the end of the day, the government can only do so much. They can provide the directives. The healthcare professionals can say this is what we have to do. If we as ordinary citizens don't follow it, then we are going to be in a worse position months down the road than we're in right now. And I think the government, I must commend the government, regardless of political affiliation. I must commend them and the leadership by our Prime Minister when in comparison to the leadership by some other leaders close to us. I don't want to say any names, right? There is a vast difference with how our Prime Minister is leading us through this pandemic. And I must commend him and his government on that, and the opposition, because they are working together to try to make it better for all Bahamians. So yes, when I'm at home, we stay home. I don't travel the road unless it's to and from work. My wife might be a little stir crazy, and sometimes she might say, oh, can I come for the drive? And I say no, because if I get stopped, I can't. If I'm on the way to work, you're dressed and you got the baby in the car, y'all ain't coming to work. So let's stay home right now. So they understand that and appreciate that. But I think it's important that we all take personal responsibility in trying to adhere to the protocols that the government has laid down for us.
So do you believe that small businesses are strong enough to survive COVID-19? No, and I know the Attorney General mentioned that we plan to have a local economy after we flatten the curve. I wanted you to give your opinion on the survivability of small businesses like yourself.
Right. Mr. Nuri, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because a lot of the small businesses in this country are supported indirectly from the income and revenue generated from the tourism industry, from the larger, broader part of the economy. Because the people that work in those sectors then spend their money with small businesses. The people that work in tourism don't spend the money at Atlantis or at Bahama. They spend the money in the Bain Towns and the Rosetta Streets and the Carmichael Roads and what have you. And so if it takes a lot longer for tourism to come back and build up the economy, I think it's going to have a drastic effect on small business, like mine and many others. For instance, like I said, if even getting this loan from the government, if I'm approved and lucky, downtown, I still have to look at, if the cruise ships aren't coming in yet, how do I open up downtown when downtown is still closed down? How is that going to work out for me so do I need to maybe see if there's something else I can do in that space, since I'm already utilizing it, that can generate enough revenue to keep it functional and operational. So I think a lot of small businesses are going to have to reassess how they do business. Listening to the Prime Minister speak about, and various businessmen, I listened to Mr. Sumner, Edison Sumner, and they were talking about we're going to have to change the way our economy functions right now. So for us, we never did home deliveries. We've instituted home delivery now during the lockdowns.
You do deliver now?
Yeah, to homes. We deliver to homes now. We were always delivering to businesses, but we never did home delivery. Now, I think what's going to happen in this economy, I'm probably going to do more home delivery, especially in the evening. So even if I utilize my downtown restaurant just to be able to accommodate evening home delivery, it's something that I'm going to have to do to change in order to adapt to this new economy. And I'm pretty sure that other small businesses are going to have to do that as well. My biggest concern as a small businessman is actually what's going to happen to our neighbors next door. They're saying, for instance, that in the internet, everyone's talking about that restaurants as we know it are going to change. People aren't going to want to go and sit down and eat as much anymore. There's talk about having the thermal temperature readings to do that for all customers coming into your establishments. So those are things that we might have to look at moving forward. But I think because we have always been a takeout and delivery service, we may be able to weather this as a restaurant better than maybe some other ones. Okay, because we've always catered to takeout and delivery. We haven't really focused much on sit down. So that's going to assist us. But there are many small businesses that I see around the place that I fear for. Many of us don't have the reserves that some of the bigger companies have. I know I didn't, because everything I put back into operations and through my expansion. Now, had I not expanded, I would have had a little bit more reserves.
Mr. Culmer, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation I had with you, by the way. And thank you very much for allowing us to come. I know you're busy and you're at work and you're working hard. I see you speaking to your customers. But I thoroughly appreciate you allowing us to speak to you. And just to find out the process you went through for applying online for the government loan. Also, the information about the steps that Tropical Gyro is doing to protect the customers, to protect the staff. And I wish Tropical Gyro good luck during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it. And I hope everybody is safe. And we look forward to seeing you guys very soon in the future.
Excellent. I would like to thank Mr. Kevin Culmer for joining us today. It is clear that these are unprecedented times. And it will take a lot of courage for us and the entire Bahamas to make it through. This is C.A. Nuri. Until next time, a closer look from the streets, distancing edition.